Glad to have you with us on this edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here. Coming up on today's show, we are going to talk about the possibility of signing Eddie Jackson in NFL free agency as his name has surfaced. We'll dive into what Last Word on Sports had to say and give you our reaction to their analysis coming up in just a bit. Also, could an extension be on the way for Brandon Stevens? ESPN says that is the number one move that the Ravens need to make next this offseason. We'll dissect that possibility, go over some numbers for you coming up in just a little while from right now. Before we do, I got a little challenge for the flock out there today. Friend of the show, frenemy, if you will, Jack Sperry over at Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. He was talking some smack and said, Tyler, there's no way you guys could get 400 likes on a Ravens video. And I said, Sperry, first off, go F yourself, and we're going to prove you wrong. So right now, I need everybody to stop what they're doing, like the video, piss off Steeler fan Jack Sperry, prove him wrong, and show why Ravens fans are the best fans around. Like the video, we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with Eddie Jackson. Could Jackson be on his way to the Charm City? This is the latest suggestion from Last Word on Sports, naming the Baltimore Ravens as the top landing spot for Jackson in free agency. And before we dive in too much, what I really find interesting about this is that the idea of bringing in Eddie Jackson, this isn't just a situation of, hey, a big name, he's been a Pro Bowler and all that, and the safety position. No. This is discount shopping, right? This is getting to the Wawa, and you got 30 cents off the gallon this time. You're getting a bargain buy, potentially, with the Ravens not having a ton of cap space to spend at this point. Let's dive in. The Ravens had one of the best defenses last year, but things are going to be a bit different. However, numerous reports say that Baltimore is still looking to add depth to the safety position. They had to see many players walk this free agency, including Geno Stone, to their bitter rival, the Bengals. The Ravens have nothing to worry about as far as having Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams as the ultimate safety duo. However, they shouldn't rely on Lamar Jackson's offense performing well while the secondary collapses. One injury to the safety position could cause turmoil for their push in a Super Bowl run. Stone wasn't the whole defense, but they may as well get a cost-effective option like Eddie Jackson. He isn't your permanent man for the job, but he's good enough to make a couple of plays that will matter. I don't hate this idea at all to sign Jackson at a discounted rate. I think you're looking at most $4.5 million for a one-year deal, essentially, and you have the money to do that right now. You can sign Eddie Jackson tomorrow. All you'd have to do, of course, is clear up a roster space for the 90-man, but this is very doable for the Baltimore Ravens. And you look at Eddie Jackson, he's not terribly old either. 2017 fourth-round pick out of Alabama, previously with the Chicago Bears, where he spent his entire career to this point. You go back to 2018 was his best season. He was first-team All-Pro, two-time Pro Bowler 2018 and in 2019. And here's the numbers that we're talking about here, folks, for Eddie Jackson. You can see that he's played okay. Particularly 2022 was really solid with 4 interceptions that year, 2 forced fumbles, 6 pass breakups, 80 tackles. This past year, 37 tackles, 5 pass breakups. If they can get similar production to what he did in 2022 as your number 3 safety, sharing that role with Ardarius Washington, I'd be more than pleased. But where I'm concerned is what you're seeing on your screen right now. His coverage statistics were just awful, right? A QB rating allowed of 121.1 is just absurd. Completion percentage of 66.7. Bears had a lot of question marks. I would think his numbers would get better just by being around better talent on this Ravens defense. But bottom line, Baltimore's got to do something, right? They cannot be content with what they got. And I know a lot of you have been defending Ardarius Washington, saying that, hey, he's going to step in, he's going to replace Geno Stone. And it all sounds fine, right? Ardarius Washington has had a nice offseason, but he's had some injury issues of his own to deal with. And why not go ahead and get Eddie Jackson, and then you're looking at 4 legit safety options at that point. It doesn't hurt you. I think it makes a ton of sense. It's our pinned comment today. What do you guys think? Should the Ravens sign Eddie Jackson or not? I'm giving you two options here. You can type S for sign or P for pass. Wait in the comment section. Let us know what you think. If the Ravens do add a guy like Eddie Jackson, then we're going to bring you a video here on the channel as quick as we can. We are your Baltimore Ravens offseason headquarters, daily news and rumors, interactive mailbags. The countdown to kickoff is on here on Ravens Rundown. Subscribe now for free. Never miss a moment. Help us reach our next milestone of 17,000 subscribers here on the channel. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/RavensTV. Let's go, Brandon. Could the Baltimore Ravens be in the market to get a new deal done with their veteran corner, Brandon Stephens? ESPN put out a list of what all 32 teams across the National Football League, what their next move should be this offseason. And the recommendation for Baltimore was to get an extension done for Brandon Stephens, who's coming off the best season of his career, where he played a significant role, especially with the injuries that we saw happen throughout that cornerback room last year, specifically with Marlon Humphrey. Brandon Stephens answered the call. Let's dive into what ESPN had to say. Stephens is a versatile player who has played safety, nickelback, and boundary corner during his 3 years in the NFL. Last season, he finished 21st among qualifying corners in coverage DVOA with 11 passes defended. His contract ends after 2024, and he's worthy of an extension, which would give the Ravens consistency in the secondary with Stephens, Marlon Humphrey, and rookie Nate Wiggins for the next few seasons. I would like to see Brandon Stephens stick around. I think last year was the breakout year that we had all hoped for him, and hope that direction tends to stay, right? That there's more to come, if you will, from Brandon Stephens. Where I disagree, though, with the assessment there from the mothership is the idea that you need to get this done right now at this point in time. Because you look at this corner room, which we'll show you here in just a second, you got plenty of options. How does Stephens stack up to those other guys this upcoming year? Is he going to be worth keeping around when the other guys are going to continue to flourish and give money to? What do you do about a number of guys in that position? To me, there's still some unanswered questions. I would hold the brakes on paying him right now, because here's the other thing. You talk about creating cap space here. That would be one of the big incentives, if you will, to get a deal done right now. You're not going to create a ton of cap space with an extension for Brandon Stephens right now. It would be around $1.65 million is all you're going to create at this point in time. So with that said, I would wait a bit on this decision to see what you really good out of Brandon Stephens this year and how the other guys look before I would do this right now. Is now the right time to extend Brandon Stephens? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, in for no. Wait in the comments section. Tell us if you think now is the time to make a move on Brandon Stephens. Stephens, the 2021 third-round pick out of SMU, previously at UCLA. And we talk about the season that he had in 2023, included career highs in solo tackles, pass breakups, and interceptions. A lot of experience in those 3 years, 48 games played with 31 starts in that stretch. And the numbers, this is what we're talking about, what he did. When you think about what this team dealt with of, not having Marlon Humphrey at times and not having Ronald Darby and some of these other corners here, Brandon Stephens answered the call. He was just really consistent throughout the year with 2 interceptions, 11 pass breakups, 74 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. The coverage stats of what he put together, 63% completion percentage, 716 yards, allowed 2 touchdowns, did have 11 pass breakups, QB rating of about 80.6 there. And here's what I want to know, okay? When we talk about this extension talk, all right, how does he stack up with the rest of the corner room? Can he do this again? Because think about this, all right? You got Marlon Humphrey coming back. Should be fully healthy. He's expected to be a full go. Nate Wiggins has been fantastic this offseason, and the expectation is that he can start right away. And then TJ Tampa, who I feel pretty high about coming out of Iowa State. I think he's got a chance to compete for playing time. You got Armour Davis there. Arthur Mollett was solid last year. Does Brandon Stephens continue to hold his own? I want to see that first before I give him the bag. And I think that's fair. That's not a knock on him. It's just a matter of believe it when I see it type of ordeal. Make sure last year wasn't a fluke before you give him a long-term deal. What should the Ravens' next roster move be? You heard ESPN say it's extend Brandon Stevens. What do you guys think? Chat in the comment section and let us know. If you enjoyed today's show, you know what to do. Like the video. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones, and I'll see you next time right here on Ravens Rundown.